Okay, Bill, do you want to do the introduction?
Sure. I know that several of our senior forum members have taken Molly courses. And with the outbreak of COVID-19, the Molly program has had to undergo some extensive changes. Karen Hendrickson, who is here with us this morning, is the program manager, and Terry Zanto, the program coordinator for Molly, have worked very hard to make the necessary changes so we can have Molly courses this fall. Since moving to Missoula, I've had the privilege of volunteering at the Molly office, and Karen and Terry do a wonderful job of administering the program. I've acquired some very interesting personal knowledge concerning Karen, but we won't go into that now. And it's with great pleasure that I introduce Karen Hendrickson.
Hi, all. How are you today? First of all, I'll tell you a little bit. I've worked with the Molly program since about 2016 as the program manager. And we see lots of changes every year and lots of stumbling blocks, but I think this last year has been the biggest struggle that we've had. We were so excited about our spring term, probably one of the best spring term lineups that I had seen. And then to have it all shut down was very disappointing. But we're working hard to bring you some more things coming up this fall. And a number of you, if you are Molly members, should have received your catalogs on either Saturday or Monday. And if you didn't, this is what our catalog looked like. And so any of you who aren't members, when we get to the end of today, if you're interested in receiving a catalog, you can call the Molly office and get your name on the list, and we will send you out some catalogs that we have there. So let me start off by just kind of telling you what Molly stands for. Molly is the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at UM. It started out in 2005, and it was housed under the School of Extended and Lifelong Learning. And last year, the School of Extended and Lifelong Learning was disbanded, and we now fall under the Davidson Honors College. So most people ask when you tell them what we are is, what's Osher? So Osher is the last name of our benefactor, Bernard Osher, and he provides endowments to lifelong learning institutes that meet certain criteria. So we got our first million in endowment based on the number of members we had. The second endowment came through based on the next threshold of members and fundraising. So we had to show that we were fundraising and looking at being self-sustainable. When the stock market crashed, not this year, but a few years ago, a number of Ollies were in trouble. And so they really thought that instilling fundraising would be a way to keep Molly's sustainable. So what Ollies are membership-driven programs that offer courses for people 50 and older. And the reason is because Bernard Osher really believes that with seniors staying active, not just physically, but mentally, that it extends their lives, but also the quality of their life. And he is a firm believer in it. He learned to play the piano at 80. He takes Osher classes, so he's really active, and he's in his 90s now. And he and his wife do a lot of philanthropy projects, not just Osher's. They also do some medical colleges, medical schools. They've backed different individuals in research projects. And they also have another program at the university which allows for people to return to college to get their degrees. So very philanthropical and just a great support. So our Molly program has slowly grown over the years, and our membership, not this last year, but the year before, was at 1,492. And we were continually growing. Last year, we had hoped to exceed those membership, that membership threshold. And unfortunately, shutting down our spring term, we did not meet that goal, but we were still ended the year at 1,297 members. So we feel like that was a very strong year, considering we lost one of our strongest terms. What Molly does is we have a $20 membership fee, which is good from July 1st to June 30th of each year. And those are things we have to report to the Osher Foundation every year, is the number of members we have, and then the number of courses and special events that we offer, and also what we earned in our fundraising. So our courses are normally $60 for a 6-week course. If you take 2 courses right at the beginning, the first 2 courses of the term, you can just pay $100 for those 2 courses, and then any subsequent courses back at the $60. We offer around 6 special member events per term now, and those are free with your membership. And so we have a number of those. If any of you have seen in your catalogs, we have those all in there now. And I'm just going to share my screen again just to show you our website. We're constantly working on it, and we like to change up our themes each time. So for any of you that are interested in going to the Molly website, if you just type in U as in university, M as in Molly, T as in Tom, dot, E as in elephant, D as in dog, U as in university, / Molly, which is spelled MOLLI. You will get to this page that you're seeing here now. We've revamped it, and we're still working on it somewhat, but this is what you're going to see when you get to that first main page. And one feature that most people don't scroll down to see is down here, we have a calendar of events that are coming up. We're slowly filling that in as we have another worker in our office, and her name is Sierra Ralston. We were very lucky to get her at the ripe old age of 18. But she's been absolutely wonderful with our members. Things that you don't see in young people today. She looks you in the eye. She used to shake people's hands when that was allowed, when she met them. Very customer service oriented, and is really good at technology and doing our social media. So she's been a real godsend to Terry and I to have that added worker on the ground. So, if you're just ever wondering what's coming up real quickly, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see the events that are coming up. Right now, she's got all the special member events on there. She'll be loading up courses today. Next Tuesday, we have this one, A Social History of Montana Hot Springs. Jeff Birkby is the presenter on that, and he has written a number of books on the hot springs in Montana, and had worked for DNRC, so very knowledgeable. So that brings me back to, how do we select the events and courses? And Molly is broken down into a governing body, and the Molly Council is made up of 12 volunteers from around the community, the dean of the Davidson Honors College, and a representative appointed by the president of the university. So those 14 people discuss and make the decisions related to Molly. And then from there, we have committees. So we have a program committee that receives the proposals for all of the courses, and they vet the proposals and the instructors to ensure that they are knowledgeable in their topic, and also their ability to teach. We don't always hit the mark with that, but do a fairly good job. Sometimes it's just difficult to see how people are going to come across, or how they may or may not go rogue in the classroom. We have a special events and interest committee, and what they oversee is the special member events and the special interest groups. Special interest groups are our Molly Choral, which meets in the winter term. And we did have one on violas, violins, and cellos, and the bass, taught by Margaret Baldridge. Not sure if that one will be back. When we had to close down in the spring, they decided to meet and go on anyway. So they may just take theirs offline from Molly. Another special interest group we had was one on beading, Native American beading. So those special interest groups, they do have a cost involved with them because we pay the instructor, and they have to be self-sufficient. So they have to pay for themselves. So they have to pay, we have to receive enough from individuals to pay for the instructor and any supplies or special costs related to those. The special member events, those are usually a one-time offering, and those are free with your membership. And the committee vets those and looks for people in the community that are knowledgeable in something or have something to offer. We also look at members' suggestions when it comes to courses or special member events, and look for people in the community that could possibly teach those. So those two groups drive most of what you see on here. Recently, we started a new committee called Membership Engagement, and that one is looking at what Molly can do on the campus and bring some intergenerational offerings to the table. Last year, we had the Grizz Read, where we had individuals in a book club with some DHC students. So some really exciting things, some mentoring projects that are in the works for that. So those, that is how Molly is made up. And then we also have a finance and development that just oversees Molly's finances and its fundraising. So that's the makeup of Molly. Currently, for the fall, we have 17 courses. And if you click on the catalog apple, it will bring you to this spot. And everything is loaded up here now. And this lists all of our courses for the fall. If you're interested in special member events, you'd have to go under the apple that says special member events. But we have a wide variety of things. Everything will be offered over Zoom. One of the questions that we get is in regards to recording and showing it later. And right now, the council and the committees have not changed the policy on recording. I can't say that that won't change depending on ongoing discussions. So I think that's always a topic of discussion because we do get a lot of questions regarding that. Let me think. Bill, have I hit everything for sure, or is there something else you think I need to talk about?
Maybe on the special member events, are we still having the same policy where you can invite a guest that isn't a Molly member?
We are not, only because, I mean, it's by Zoom. So it's not like we're looking at the number in a room and making sure that we have space for that and wanting to introduce people. It's really hard for us to control who is sitting in the room with other people watching those. We are asking, though, that if there's a couple that both the husband and the wife or significant others pay their membership fees, that just helps sustain Molly. It promotes our numbers when we make the reports to the Osher. And we realize that, you know, last year, thankfully, and I haven't crunched the numbers, that I think we may have broke even with our finances, and hopefully this year we could at least break even. But we know with Zoom, we have to pay for the platform. We have actually 4 accounts. We have the 2 accounts that the UM offers, and then Molly also bought 2 accounts, and the reason was so we'd have the webinar platforms in those. So we have some other costs associated, and bringing Sierra on because we have to train the instructors on the use of the Zoom platform and using it. And then we're also helping students learn the Zoom. So we have a lot of balancing we're trying to do. We really thought that offering things online was going to be, if not less difficult, at least no more difficult than offering in person. But it turns out, we just are in that generational age of people needing more support. And so we always have a staff member monitoring the full class period, the full special member event, to make sure that there's no technical difficulties, glitches, helping out the students as they run into problems, and then monitoring the phones when they call in. So just asking that if you're partaking in an event and you're a normal Molly member, that if you and your wife are both taking a course, to please both of you pay for the course. So those are just some things. And that now I've even, this is how old I am. I can't even remember what your question was. Okay.
Question was, as a Molly member, can I have a guest to a special member event like we have in the past?
Yeah. And, if somebody sat there with you and watched, it's not, yeah. We just wouldn't register those. We're not going to worry about registering guests. So.
Okay. One thing I think we might point out, Karen, is for all of the snowbirds, when you're gone in the late fall or the winter time, and you can still take Molly courses. So you don't have to be sitting in Missoula or Western Montana to take a Molly course now.
Right. And we do have some members that we have one in California that comes up in the summers and would take summer courses. We have some couples from Ohio and North Carolina that would come for the summer and the fall and take the fall courses. And so now where they're located, they could take them all year. We have a couple that goes back and forth somewhat to Wisconsin. So it really opens that up. And on the reverse, it opens up the ability for us to have instructors from other places. So Vicki Clark has come out, stayed with family, and taught on art. And so she did a special member event for us from Pittsburgh the end of July on contemporary art. So we've had other instructors who've taught for other Ollies in their area reach out to us about teaching for us. So you may see some specialists from other areas that could really bring some fascinating topics to Molly. So if you know of anybody, anybody in this group knows of anybody who lives in other areas who would, really have a great presentation, we are always open to hearing about that now. It's not not trying to get them here or when they pass through. We can schedule them and offer that. So, and this could be the change for Molly. In some ways, I don't think we'll ever return to just in-person courses when vaccines are brought back. This opens up all sorts of thoughts and avenues. We have a number of people in Billings who've been wanting Molly to come there. We were working on that with Rocky Mountain College for the spring term. Well, now we don't have to worry about trying to find a venue and people to oversee the equipment. These people can actually watch from their homes. Our spring term was also going to be offered in Dillon. So same thing for those folks. Hamilton and Butte already had established classrooms where we would just broadcast the classes into those classrooms in Hamilton in the Bitterroot College and at Montana Tech. So now those people can be at home and watch it, and possibly some homebound people will be able to. Helena was scrambling for that. We were going to be in Great Falls in the spring this last year. And so this is just going to be a way for us to bring lifelong learning to people across the state, I'm hoping. And working, Bozeman now has an Osher, and really looking at maybe trying to partner with them on some things also. So, sharing of instructors, there's people there that have specialties that would be great to bring here. So this just could be something that could really open the door for Montanans in general, not just Missoula. I will say this, that one nice thing about the Osher Lifelong Learning Institutes is not one of them is the same. Each one might have a characteristic that is similar to one another, but not. The only real thing that is the same is that they have to be membership driven and 50 and older. So from there, each Osher can decide what works best for them. And it's some Oshers teach. So like what you see at Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center, the how-to type of courses that we call them, the exercise courses, they offer all of those along with the academic style courses. The reason we don't is we stick strictly to the academic style courses. And the reason is when Molly got set up, we agreed not to compete with the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center. We're not interested in putting anybody out of business or competing, but in boosting programs and sharing learning. So I think that's about it. My voice is telling me that's about it, so I don't know. Questions from anybody?
I was going to say you can ask for questions, and I was going to suggest screen so you can.
So
see
Karen, you probably don't know, but David Cates came and spoke last week to us, and he's going to be giving a Molly course on the short story.
Yes, and Terry's been working with him on the Zoom, and she says he's going to be phenomenal. I think she said she thinks he's really got it nailed down and has a plan, and that it'll be a really good course. The thing about his course is it will be in the evenings, so it'll be from 6 to 7:30. So we're still trying to do offerings for those people that are still having to go out and work. So we have 2 evening courses. We don't typically offer Saturday courses in the fall. We could have this year because we would not have been competing for parking, but just didn't have the need for Saturdays. But we do have 2 evening courses. So So our courses are typically 6 weeks, and they're an hour and a half per week for 6 weeks. Now, we do have some people who offer shorter versions of that. 4-week, we have some field courses now that are 1 day or 2 day, and they fall in the course part. And then we just adjust cost and stipends based on the number of weeks you teach. So a stipend for a 6-week course is $1,200. special member events, they get a stipend, and it's a one-time for an hour and a half, and that's $200. So we do pay all of our instructors. Some of our instructors waive their payments, but typically we pay everyone. So yes, yes. Anyone else have a question?
I'd like to add a comment. I've had the pleasure of teaching 6 of the Mali classes in points of subjects that I've been interested in. And I want everybody to know that Karen and Terry are fantastic support people. They always have the answer to every question. They're very supportive and cooperative. And they make it very easy to be an instructor. If anybody out there, either a senior forum person or if they have acquaintances that they know that has some subject matter that they'd like to share with others, Karen and Terry make it really easy. So I just wanted to say what great people you are to work with.
Well, thank you, Lee. Yeah, we enjoy working with you too. And the worst part about my job is I don't get to take the courses. You look at them, I look at them when I'm building the catalog and I'm like, oh, this is so good. This would be so good. This would be so good. And now it's kind of interesting because if you have to monitor the Zoom, you kind of get to take the course. So, when you're working on the side, you can still kind of hear what's going on. So, but normally we don't get to do that. So, yeah.